The other nice thing I really like about this is you can take the drive shaft in and out with the carrier bearing still attached, which you cannot do with the other one, so that's huge. Because if the carrier bearing comes apart, you have to try and press it off inside this cavity somehow, because it won't slide out between here. I can't be any happier. This thing is, it's fast. All right, we're back in the shop again. Another day, and we got parts. Good parts, yes. So we've got the Sandcraft carrier bearing, which relocates and puts a solid mount, whereas before we have a viscous or dampener mount, which I believe this is where my vibration was coming from with the car. Like we talked previously in this video, I'm pretty sure I'm keeping this all one video. When I took the drive shaft out, the vibration went away. I got no vibration in the car, and the car runs like a champ. Only problem is I got no four-wheel drive, which now that it's winter, and as you can see from all the mud, it could be a problem. So we're gonna go ahead and get that bad boy put together on the bench here, which is pretty simple. We're just gonna slide this over to here after we put our bushinged ring here, or our collared ring, or whatever you wanna call it. It's got a little taper in there. So this actually just goes right on like so, with the taper facing aft or onto the shaft. Might need to clean that a little bit. That goes onto there, and then this bad boy goes on, and then that goes in, and we shove it in. It's actually pretty simple. Nice design. So we're gonna go ahead and get this assembled on the bench. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll stuff it in the car. All right, so you go ahead and you take the green Loctite, and you put some of that on the shaft where the bearing mating surface is, and then you slide this bearing over, and then you put the spring clip. It's a little spring retainer that I'm not freaking focusing. It's a little spring retainer right in there, and you just use a little flathead. That's what I did. Use this little flathead to try to just kind of spread the coil out and wrap it around. So got that all on, and as you can see, well, I don't know, she rolls pretty good. So it's a way better bearing design. The bearing can be changed out for like $20, $30 or something like that. And it's greasable finally. So that's the big thing that's awesome about this. So we're gonna go ahead and get this next part put in right here. And then that goes in with these and gets torqued down to 35 foot-pounds. We'll go on with the blue Loctite here as well. Get that in the car. And then we'll go ahead and install the drive shafts. All right, so we've got the crossbar in, as you can see, torqued on both sides. Pull the passenger seat up and just kind of laid it up on top of there so I could get to the other side. You've got to drop it in from the top down right there. And then they're torqued to 35 foot-pounds and back onto the business. So I'm gonna get this side all put back together because I'm done over here now. Then we'll get the drive shaft put back in on this side, and we'll get to it. All right, so we got her all installed in there, greased up, tightened down. So a little trick, or you know, probably already know, whatever. The front drive shaft has a bolt that splines into a keyway that centers the drive shaft where it's supposed to be. And then back here, it just has a pinch bolt to keep it tight. There's a retaining clip on the new carrier bearing, which holds the rear drive shaft where it's supposed to be, and then the pinch joint also keeps it all where it's supposed to be. So we're all good and tight. The difference from before, there's no movement, as there shouldn't be. Before, that thing would move all over the place. I feel like it shouldn't move that much. So we'll go ahead and see what that does for our vibration after I put everything back together. I did have the other seat out, but I didn't take it all the way out because I just needed it up out of the way enough to do that one little bolt. This side, you kind of got to have everything out of the way in order to slide it in and out. The other nice thing I really like about this is you can take the drive shaft in and out with the carrier bearing still attached, which you cannot do with the other one, so that's huge. Because if the carrier bearing comes apart, you have to try and press it off inside this cavity somehow because it won't slide out between here. So that is one of those things that this will help with. But we'll go ahead and get her on and I'll take her for a test drive. All right, so we're behind the driver's side seat here, and you can see our new bolt and mount for our Sandcraft mount is very tight to that bolt for the seat belt. In fact, it's almost exactly too tight, it turns out, because the stock one for these harnesses that sticks out a little bit and gives you a bunch of play totally hit it. So I had to swap it out for a different bolt, which you can see clears, and we're all good there. If you had a seat that was not all the way down, like mine is, you would probably be fine. Looks like there's plenty of room, it'll go right over the top, but because I run this thing as low and back as far as possible, it became an issue for me. So we had to do a quick little modification, and we're good to go. And then boom, she goes all the way back like she's supposed to. So pretty decent install. It wasn't too hard at all. Just gotta hook up the top of my straps right there, and we'll be ready to go for a test drive. So I'll catch you once I get rolling. All right, so we're in the rig. We are gonna take her on a little roundabout. I don't know, this is gonna be my test loop. I think I'm gonna test my test loop, if that makes any sense. So we're gonna go on the OnX, and I'll get an exact of how far it is point to point and see what it takes. Maybe I'll set the record for today, I guess. All right, so she made it to right here just fine. Definitely has a vibration in the drivetrain, but it's not super noticeable, and it's not concerning. It's just more weight. You feel the drive shaft going, and you feel the power, and you feel the front end pulling and doing its thing. So that is fine. I have no problem with that. It was the extra vibration that was super noticeable and getting worse. So this is solid. I've done this whole ride in four-wheel drive, and she's just been killing it. Came up the steep part of the hill that I've never done before. Didn't film it. I think with a little speed, it would go right up it.
Okay, so we can get on, you can do it? Good. Colin, I love how you have no confidence. I do not.
Trust me, you'll see it again. The windshield, doing awesome. Took a few glancers. Nothing like, not any hits, but just like, oh, it, you know, swipe type of thing. Just boosh with branches and whatnot. So doing great, everything's working great. The heater is fine, not getting too warm, doesn't look like we're leaking any fluid. So we're gonna keep on getting down the road.